The following program, Live and Learn, is made possible by Aging Partners. Find out more on their website.
The holiday season can be stressful with preparing food, making decorations, and getting together for the holiday season. But there are strategies to reduce that stress. Stay tuned for some helpful hints of how we can be happier and come out the other end of the holidays rejuvenated and refreshed. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Live and Learn. I'm your host, Jerry Renaud. One of the great organizations in Lincoln and around the world is the Salvation Army, which has been helping people in need for more than 100 years. Our guest today is Major Mark Anderson, who heads up Lincoln's Salvation Army. They'll talk to us about the great things the Salvation Army has going on and how you can help. Don't go away.
Driving retirement. Is this something you have contemplated? Will you know when you should? I'm Kristen Stows, and I am pleased to have Lisa Anderson, a certified driving rehab specialist, who will fill us in on the issues we should all navigate as we age.
I'm Barb Tyler, and it's my pleasure to talk with Alicia Jones, who works with the SHIP program within the Nebraska Insurance Department. We're going to be discussing the open enrollment period that is open now for Medicare and how it can benefit you.
This and more on today's Live and Learn.
Welcome to Live and Learn. The hustle and bustle of the holiday season can create a lot of stress, which can take us away from the happiness and warmth of the season. I'm Doug Jose, and joining me today is Tracy Foreman from Aging Partners. Tracy is a health and fitness professional with Aging Partners. Welcome, Tracy, and let's talk about a little bit about the stress of the holiday season. But first of all, tell us a little about your role in Aging Partners, who is the sponsor of this program.
Thanks for having me today, Doug. I'm a community health educator with Aging Partners. I go out in the community and do programs. I'm also a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. I'm a Tai Chi instructor and a Qigong instructor. And we also do a little bit of dance in there. So I get out in the community a lot, and it's really a wonderful job and a great agency to work for.
A lot of diverse interests there. Sounds exciting. Let's talk about the holiday season. Do we set our expectations a little too high maybe during the holiday season for what we can achieve, given that life goes on, sort of the day-to-day activities still go on?
It does still go on. And I think a lot of us have bought into that Norman Rockwell type Christmas where we're sitting in front of the fireplace and the family is all smiling at one another. But most of us know that that is not the case in our family. Everyone is a little bit different. And we are layering on a lot more during the holidays. So I believe we set our expectations high and that we want things to be perfect. And that doesn't always play out well for us.
Speaking of those regular activities, proper nutrition is important, and rest. You have some guidelines there?
Well, at the very least, we need to try to put our feet up every now and then because we know our stress levels are going to be a little bit higher. And we also know that we're going to eat more. That's just a fact of life. And we don't need to waste a lot of time beating ourselves up. But I encourage people to get more of their high color fruits and vegetables in if they can do that. And make sure you're getting a lot more vitamin C during the holidays because our immune system is down a little bit when we're under more stress. So doing the let's make a deal thing where if I'm going to eat more of the bad stuff, I'm also going to eat more of the good stuff and get out there and move more.
We do consume probably more calories, of course, during the season, but how can we counteract that with those extra calories?
Well, when we think of proper nutrition, that's probably not something that comes into the same category as Thanksgiving and Christmas or those holidays when we tend to eat more. So we probably know we're going to get more potatoes and gravy and green bean casseroles and that sort of thing. And we love them. And oftentimes we don't make those things for ourselves. So what I generally tell people is to eat those things, enjoy them. But remember, I said, let's make a deal. If I'm I'm going to do that, then I'm going to get out, go for some walks. And you can go for walks at different places. It doesn't have to be outside. You can actually come down to Aging Partners. We have a great place to exercise, and we've got lots of things online. You can go to YouTube and do some exercises. So you can exercise from home or go to a nice safe place to exercise or to walk.
So in terms of physical activities, the walking sounds good. Any other physical activities you recommend?
Well, I would say if you can even get on your TV and do some of the strength training shows that are on, and LNK TV has some great programs that you can access. So I encourage you to get on and take a look at what's available there. Go to YouTube, to the LNK TV channels there, or the programs there, and access our Tai Chi and Qigong activities. And honestly, I recommend activities that are not tremendously stressful on your body, but give you a good workout nonetheless. And when I say those types of activities, I'm referring to things like Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, that give you a good workout, but you're not jumping up and down.
So those are available. You mentioned the Aging Partners facilities. So some of those are available there.
We actually do not have classes at our Aging Partners fitness facility, but we have a great fitness center that has trainers on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can come there from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and we have trainers on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's very, very easy to get to because we have parking all around the building at no cost. And so easy to get to, and it's kind of out of the downtown area, which is nice.
Yeah, it's just across the street from the County City building. Another aspect of the holiday season is the traditions. A lot of those are long-held family traditions that we like to practice every year. Then maybe what about new traditions, or how do we balance between the old traditions and the new traditions?
It's a good question, and traditions are important because they bring us comfort, and they're usually shared with other people. I will say that if we've experienced losses and life changes, and my family this year has 3 family members that have passed on just this year. And so it's going to be a very different holiday. And we've talked about the traditions that we shared with those people and how we're going to talk about some different traditions that we can add this year. So I do think that with traditions, old and new, it's important to talk with family members and friends and get their input as to what they want to keep as a tradition and what we can change. And we all know that change is going to happen. And so how can we roll with the change and create some new traditions, like maybe lighting a candle for someone, just a very simple thing. It doesn't have to be complicated. But what works for you, it's very individual.
You know, we get busy with preparing food and decorations and so on, but it sort of leads into the idea of just spending time with those people that we love and enjoy being with. And in your case, for example, sorry for your loss, but you know, I'm sure you're looking forward to spending time with other family members.
Yeah, I think as we lose people we love, we feel a deeper emotional connection to our other family members. And so I am very much looking forward to spending time with the family. And not everyone has that opportunity to spend time with family. So friends become very, very important. And spending time with them, either going out and having coffee or talking to them on the phone or going for walks or meeting them somewhere where you can chat without being interrupted is really a very important thing to do, or just meeting at each other's house. So social connection is so important around the holidays.
Yeah, just spending that time is really valuable.
It is.
We've discussed a number of ways to reduce its stress. Let's talk about 2 or 3 things that you think are sort of key here during this holiday season.
Well, you know, when we think of balance in our lives, my mind automatically goes to the mental, the physical, and the spiritual balance in life. And I think for a lot of people, that's absolutely true. But this is so individual to each person. What does mental balance mean? What does spiritual and physical balance mean? What For me, I say that we have to make a pact with ourselves to live healthier and to find happiness in our own lives. And I talked about practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga. And and one of the things I think about when I think of practices like that is that they are meditative practices and they help us to find better balance mentally and spiritually in our lives. And of course, prayer and meditation, those types of things are important. But one thing we have to always remember to ask people for the help that we need. And that's one of the things as human beings we find difficult to do, ask for help. And so finding balance in our lives means including others in our life too. So that's one of the most important to me.
So, we can spend some time, as you say, sort of meditating ourselves, but reaching out to, it may not be necessarily a family member, but a close friend at this time of year too.
Close friend, and doing things that really feed your own soul, like volunteering or reaching out to people that you know need help, or just going out in the community and looking at some of the groups that are out there helping others who need help and getting involved.
That's an interesting point. There are lots of opportunities during the season to do volunteer things like maybe delivering meals or ringing the bells and that sort of thing. So
yes, very good choices there. Those are good ones.
What we talked about today is getting that balance. So can you sort of summarize for us how we might find balance with preparations, things that are ongoing, and then keeping those family and traditions and connections together?
Well, I think keeping our expectations a little lower than we usually do. As you know, we can be our own worst enemy when it comes to expectations of the holidays. And so just remembering that not everything is probably going to go as planned. You are probably making way too much food, and so it's okay to cut back a little bit. Remember, if you make too much food, there's so much food left to eat. So keep that in mind, and know that there are people probably at your wherever you live or in your family who would also like to go for a walk after the meal, and incorporate others into your life. Ask people if they want to be involved. And I've discovered that if you ask, a lot of times they're very receptive to doing things. So if you need to be around people, if you need help, delegate. It's very hard, especially as a mother, I know, very hard to delegate, but we have to say, I need your help. And usually people will embrace you and say, yes, I'd love to. So reach out.
That food thing is interesting because if you enjoy preparing those food, you can share that also with others and get some good warmth feeling that way also.
Yes, and I always buy extra Tupperware containers for the holidays so I can send food home with people.
Tracy, this has been very insightful, and we appreciate you sharing those thoughts with us. And we would encourage people to maybe come to the Aging Partners Recreation Center and enjoy some of the things that you offer here. So again, thanks a lot. It may not be perfect Christmas, but we can reduce that stress. So thanks for being with us. And remember, it's never too late to live and learn to become happier during the holidays.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones with Aging Partners. Did you know that Lincoln expects a 75% increase in the number of seniors living in our community over the next 15 years? Aging Partners is a community service that provides fitness programs to help keep older adults strong and healthy. This year, Lincoln Cares donations are providing funds for new fitness equipment. You can help make this happen. Sign up to support Lincoln Cares and add $1 to your LES bill each month.
Hello and welcome to Live and Learn. I'm your host, Jerry Renaud. There's a fabulous organization called the Salvation Army. Unfortunately, a lot of people only think about the Salvation Army at Christmas time because that's everywhere you look. You've got bell ringers outside of stores collecting money and wishing you a happy holiday. But they do so much more than that, and we want to talk about some of those things today, as well as talking about some of the great things that they do during the holiday season. Here with us today is Major Mark Anderson from the Lincoln Salvation Army. Major, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to us today.
It is great to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity. My favorite subject, the Salvation Army, is on tap for today, and this is going to be a great time.
Wonderful. You have been with the Salvation Army in Lincoln for about 5 years, but I know your association goes back much further than that. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in Salvation Army and how you got to Lincoln, Nebraska.
So yeah, I've been involved with the Salvation Army about 38 years. We have had a wonderful career, if you will. My wife and I are both Salvation Army officers, and we have spent time in Missouri, up in Wisconsin. I know that's a kind of a rivalry thing, but anyway, Wisconsin and Chicago area, and now out here in Nebraska. We're really enjoying Lincoln. It is a great community with people who are very generous. They really are very thoughtful, not only of those neighbors around them, but really of the greater community of Nebraska and really across the country. So it's great to be a part of what's going on here in Lincoln.
Well, we're delighted you're here, and again, you're doing great things here. Let's talk about the bell ringers. I mean, that is kind of, at least at this particular point of time, and we are recording this to be aired in throughout the month of December. So I know you can't quite come up with some exact figures, but I know that the bell ringers are a pretty integral, crucial part of your fundraising efforts.
Yeah, so this year,
Salvation Army. Tell us about the bell ringer program.
You got it. So this year, our goal is $625,000. And of that goal, about a third will come from our bell ringers who are on the street. It takes an army to reach the goal for this Christmas season. And really an army of volunteers, an army of paid bell ringers. It's kind of a blending of both. As all other entities here in Lincoln are dealing with, it's tough to find people who are willing to go out and work and have the time to do the kinds of things that need to take place. But the good Lord has been good to us and the citizens around Lincoln, and we have a good group of bell ringers. We could always use more. You can meet us at registertoring.org online. Registertoring.org is a pretty simple platform to work on. You just pick the date that you want to ring the bell and the location. They're all listed there. And you will be able to select a time and a date. That will let us know, that make sure the bucket and the bells are there for you and for your family, so that you can have that traditional Christmas experience of being out ringing the bell and helping individuals during this time of year.
And one of the things, and you mentioned this, that I found very interesting, and I absolutely did not know this, that it's sort of a part of your program that you pay some of the bell ringers. And it's, again, a way to help people who are struggling a little bit to not only go out and help your organization, but to help themselves as well.
Yeah, it's the people of Lancaster County, Lincoln, really have a pride-oriented approach to helping people. They want to make sure that people feel good about themselves. And so one of the ways we do that is to provide employment for those who may not have an opportunity to hold full-time employment during the holidays. Instead of a handout, it's a hand up. And we've been doing that for a long time here in Lincoln. And it has been very successful in making sure that individuals sort of can have a great Christmas holiday and help the community as well by ringing the bell.
And you're still looking for volunteers. You mentioned that. How many people are acting as bell ringers on a normal year?
So yeah, we have 35 locations. So, everywhere from a Walmart to a Shields to a Hy-Vee to one of the B&R stores, the Super Saver or Russ's. Across this city, there is need for bell ringers from around 11 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. So you can imagine most bell ringers take a 2-hour shift. And you can imagine the amount of people we need if we were to actually fill every location. There is one time during the season that we normally do that, and that's when the bell ringers are covered by all of the real estate. So it's Realtor Day, Realtor Ring Day is actually what they call it, and it's a wonderful experience to watch all of the realtors from all across our city on the kettle locations. And they just do a terrific job every year.
Yeah, it's a great program, and it really does help the city, and most of that money goes back into the city, which is another great thing.
Right. Yeah, the dollars are spent here to make a difference in the lives of this community. Need has no season, so we understand that the first dollars go to help during the holiday season. And then we use those dollars throughout the year to operate the Salvation Army here in Lincoln. We're excited that once again, we've had the support this last year to have a very good year and to be taken care of so that we can meet the needs as people come through our doors. And we're just counting on that again this next year and hoping that our Christmas goal will be achieved.
Wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs, because I think that there are lots of people in the community who go, sure, I know exactly what the Salvation Army does. I'm able to take advantage of some of those things, but maybe not everybody does. So let's talk about a few of those. One of my favorites, I guess, is because I was somewhat of a participant and knew lots of people that were also involved in that, and that's the small fry basketball. That's more than 60 years now. I think that's been going on. Tell us a little bit about that program and how it works.
Yeah, that's really a terrific program. Very quiet, really. People don't always know the connection with the Army, but this is our 61st season of small fry basketball here in Lincoln, held at the Salvation Army. It is a Salvation Army program that was started by the Salvation Army here in Lincoln. It's a wonderful opportunity for children from all over Lincoln to come together at the Army and play on a basketball court. It's a very competitive group. The kids think they're in the NBA. There are locker rooms. There are, we even go out and hire in great refs so that they get all of the training. So as they grow up and as they get involved in high school sports and maybe college sports and on, many of them got their start right here at the Salvation Army on the basketball courts in small fry. So I hear virtually every day someone who will share either their grandchild or maybe they were involved not only in coaching, but involved on one of the teams. So it is a cool tradition. And I'll tell you, if you want a really fun time, stop down at one of the games. They usually Tuesday through Thursday nights, and just watch those kids play. The gym will be full of people. Of course, we do follow all the safety precautions for COVID, but it's a great experience, a great sporting event, and just a lot of fun, not only for the kids, but for all of the family members.
Yeah, it's a great gym. I mean, it's got the big scoreboard. It's got the nice baskets. It's a great place and a great opportunity. And I guarantee you there are any number of high school basketball stars over the course of the years that got their start in the small fry league.
Oh yeah, in fact, there are professional sports players who have gone on to be with like the Kansas City Royals and a number of places that started at the small fry on that court. Built in 1955, it's a wooden floor, a floating wooden floor. It is a classic gym here in Lincoln.
Yeah, it's a great place, and you have all kinds of of opportunities for young people with the Salvation Army. I hope we have a little time to talk about that, but there's a couple of other real critical ones before we run out of time. And one of those is the helping out in the utility assistance program. We're really looking at a scenario where heating prices are going up. It's going to be more difficult for all of us to heat our homes and to keep things warm. And you have a program and a wonderful woman who is heading up this program that can help people out, right?
Yeah, Joanna is a wonderful case manager. She's actually our coordinator. 58% is the prediction of natural gas increase from Black Hills Energy this heating season. So what we are doing is we are using Black Hills Energy Care money and money from the United Way and money from the county to help provide assistance to those who are coming through our doors and saying we can't meet the need of taking care of our utilities. Last fiscal year, over $119,000 was distributed by the Salvation Army to help families who just needed a little extra help during the heating and cooling season. We are really involved in trying to make sure that every family matters here at the Salvation Army. So it's not only a utility assistance, it's laundry vouchers, it's transportation, it's food assistance. We do perishables on Tuesdays and Fridays just to make sure that families are taken care of so that there's a safety net of hope. When we think of kids, we have after school programs that the kids can come to that are free of charge, all kinds of summer day camp programming. And of course, one of my favorites is the Shield Fine Arts Academy, where kids can get free musical lessons to make a difference. So a lot of times a family will come through the door looking for utility assistance, which we will provide. And then we can open the door to a whole world of services that the Salvation Army provides here in Lincoln.
And one of the things that I really like about the Salvation Army is that you're not just giving them a handout, you're just not throwing money their way, but you are working with them to see how they can contribute, how they can get things better into their lives and to make them more independent.
Right. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is a pride-oriented approach. We want you to come in the building and feel good about Lincoln, feel good about what we're doing. I always say a couple things, that we are only as strong as our donors allow us to be. And so as those gifts come in this Christmas, as people are thinking of their year-end giving, I know the stock market has done very well. A number of things have gone very well for many people, and they have a little extra they can shoot our way. It makes a big difference, not to us necessarily, but to those we serve, who are your neighbors, who are your friends.
And what a great transition to, let's talk about if somebody would like to offer their help to the Salvation Army, what is the best way for them to go about that?
So 2 things: you can go to ringbell.org and sign up to be a bell ringer. You can send a check into the Salvation Army and you can make a difference that way, or you can drop in a gift at the Friendly Red Kettle. There's some contact information in that. You can contact Teresa Tuttle. She is available and will help you to guide you through whatever direction you want to go as far as helping the Army, either through volunteerism or through financial support.
And just very quickly, the food baskets also are available at Christmas.
Oh, yeah. So Thanksgiving baskets went out. Over 450 families were assisted. And Christmas baskets, over 800 baskets last year. If you think of 5 people in a family, that is a lot of food going out through our doors to help families in need. And then, of course, we set up a giant toy town where we give free toys to kids. And last year, over 3,000 toys were distributed. Mom and dad come in, select the toy they want for the kid. They take it home, they wrap it. It comes from mom and dad. So anything you can do, maybe you want to drop off some toys, it'll make a big difference this holiday season.
Major Mark Anderson from the Lincoln Salvation Army, thank you so much for being with us here today, and thank you for all you do for the city of Lincoln.
Thank you for the opportunity. Again, you picked my favorite subject, the Salvation Army.
And thanks to all of you for joining us today. Please have a very happy and safe holiday season. And remember, it's never too late to live and learn.
Vulnerable and senior adults might be living in silent fear of elder abuse and financial exploitation. We can do something about it. The Nebraska DHHS recommends that communities maintain and improve resources such as public transportation and senior centers to prevent social isolation. Engage professionals in various disciplines to find solutions to end elder abuse. Every year, June 15 is observed as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, an opportunity to ensure justice for all.
The realities of putting down the car keys mean different things to different people. I'm Kristen Stowe, and I'm very pleased to welcome occupational therapist Lisa Anderson, who will help us evaluate our own definition of driving retirement. Welcome to Live and Learn, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you here today. Could we start by hearing a brief explanation of what occupational therapy in general entails?
Sure. An occupational therapist is somebody that addresses everyday living skills, which includes taking care of yourself, getting back to work, your home, and that can include driving. We also kind of talk about just getting out in the community as well.
Okay, all right. Let's start by understanding what the current laws are in Nebraska on driving tests and licensing in terms of seniors.
Okay, so in the state of Nebraska and in every state, each state has their own licensing laws and ways that they go about your renewal when you have a license. In Nebraska, the length of time that we get a license is 5 years, and we can renew online as long as you have a good, no tickets, no infractions during that time period. Every time we do renew, you have to do a vision assessment or screening with that machine, which is usually fairly quick and just an overview.
Then what are some issues that come up as we age that can affect our driving abilities? And we will have a graphic to show on these issues.
Yeah, so eyesight is a couple different things. That's how clearly we see, that 20/20 number when we go to the eye doctor. State law is that you have to have at least 20/40 for driving. Or potentially you could drive with certain kinds of lenses, and that could make your vision a little bit more impaired at 20/70, 20/100. And then the other thing that they often check when we do our renewal is that peripheral vision. So how well we see on our sides, and kind of being aware of that. Mm-hmm. The other things kind of related to aging is just some of those things that can occur: cataracts, diabetic changes, your lenses not focusing as well. And oftentimes that can also include how well we tolerate lighting and kind of that sensitivity to nighttime and those sorts of things.
That nighttime driving is usually the first piece to go, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of people choose to do that because they know they aren't seeing as well and are having more difficulty.
Right. Okay, on to reaction times.
Reaction times, that again can be a couple different things. That's more the motor skills. So how well your leg can move, how well you feel the pedals and respond to things. And then also arms, if you have arthritis or difficulty reaching, holding on to the steering wheel and doing some of those types of things can get difficult. And then also our brain processing speed. So if you see something, can you see it, identify it, and then react to it? And kind of that can be slowed as you age as well.
Definitely. So unfortunately, disease processes.
Yes. So as we age, it's fairly common for somebody kind of above that 65 and older that you could have up to 5 different chronic conditions. Those can be diabetes, asthma, arthritis, high blood pressure, different things related to your breathing, COPD, things like that. I usually like to say, though, that age is just a number. I've had people that really do well, into their 90s, and then others that, if they have a lot of chronic conditions earlier on, they can do fairly well with driving.
Sure.
So it can really vary.
It does vary. Medication side effects, and this is a big one, and we don't put enough emphasis on it, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes you can have a couple different doctors prescribing things too, and that can also be what's challenging about that, because they may not be aware of what you're already on, and don't know the interactions. But oftentimes we can have up to 4 and 5 different medications that you can be taking, and you got to just know how your body responds to them. Does it make you drowsy? Does it make you feel dizzy, lightheaded, things like that? And there's certain meds that do that more than others. And so it's important to kind of know how your body interacts with them.
And we will call attention to this tool by AAA, this online Roadwise RX tool. This is a fabulous website.
Yeah, so you can enter all of your medications into that tool, and then it goes through and talks about how it might impact your physical skills and maybe what you need to watch out for when you're driving as well. So that's
very helpful. Very helpful. Okay, hearing loss. We don't think about hearing in the car. We need our hearing.
Yeah, and that again can be really variable. You can just have difficulty with hearing certain types of frequencies, the louder pitch or the softer pitch. And I think that really impacts just your awareness of the environment. If you hear an emergency vehicle, maybe you hear it, but you don't know exactly where it is, so you can't respond to it appropriately, or things on the vehicle going on, if you can't hear warning signs or things like that.
Yes, very important. Vehicle technology. This loses all of us. The electric car, some of those cars drive entirely differently than what we're used to.
That's right. And sometimes technology can be a good thing. And I think, the navigation systems and GPS systems have been around a while now, which can be very helpful. But sometimes the technology can be confusing because it's new and it takes time to learn it and be familiar with how to use it. And it can also be a distraction. So that makes it challenging too. And it takes away from the skills you need to kind of just stay on top of things when you're on the road.
Right. And sometimes just driving around town, the road landscapes change. The roundabout, we all need new driving lessons on the roundabout.
Right. And, construction or things that can come up that are out of the norm too, that you got to respond to. Yeah.
Yes, that's very true. Well, Lisa, when someone hears the statement, "You can no longer drive," that really is a power charged moment, depending upon what it means to that individual's life. Would you agree with that?
That's true. And unfortunately, it's such a crucial conversation to have. And I know I've been on the end of needing to do it with a lot of my clients over the years, but I hope, or I want, why I'm sharing today is I want families to be comfortable talking about it and know that they need to talk about it.
Yes.
But it's something that we want people to stay out on the road as safely as they can for as long as they can. And so then that's something that we, want to.
Sure. Well, Lisa, let's go on to some of the warning signs that could signal a driver should really consider putting down the car keys. I believe the first one is failure to notice traffic signs.
Yeah, so just again, that awareness or that attention to some of those details. Sometimes it can be visual or just getting distracted. So not missing a stop sign maybe, or missing the stoplight turning in a timely fashion, things like that, or missing a turn or a particular street that they're wanting to turn on. Mm-hmm. Another one can be hitting curbs or just misjudging when you're making or navigating the environment, not being able to see as well, possibly, or just not being able to control the wheel as well. So that can cause them to be hitting curbs or things like that more, or have difficulty with their lane position and misjudging how they're centered in the lane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Being distracted easily, just losing your confidence and going out and getting in a car and driving.
Yes, yeah. I think the confidence, when you start to feel more unsure about yourself and then maybe have more anxiety when you're driving, that could be a sign that things aren't going as well. That's your internal, somebody telling you that something's not going as good as it should be, or that you're just getting turned around more often, or having trouble remembering where you're going.
Getting lost, boy, that would be a scary sign, I think.
Yeah.
And we need to make the point, any of us can do any of these things occasionally, or hopefully not very frequently. But if you start to do something over and over and over again, then that's really a problem. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah.
So how is it best to approach helping someone pursue driving retirement if they're noticing that they're doing these inappropriate driving behaviors?
So I think, again, we kind of talked about how it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's one that we want, families to have. I think the clients typically want to hear this information from somebody they trust. And so usually family is the best person to have that conversation. And I think when you're thinking about the family, deciding who to have that conversation, you may think about the history of the relationship and who maybe has potential for less conflict when it comes to that time. But you want to be open about what you're observing and maybe bring up things that are common to both of you. So talking about just something you observed out on the road, or did you see that construction? And when I was driving, I noticed this, and kind of putting it on common ground can help be a good conversation starter to get that information going.
Okay.
Because you don't want to use scare tactics by talking about things. You want to just be able to talk openly about it and not be scaring them.
So is this something that you could suggest a doctor talk to a patient about?
Yes, I often, a lot of the skills that you can use are related to fitness and your health. And so I do feel like if there's things that you have concerned about, you want to have that conversation with your doctor. Some doctors are more open about having more of an active role in giving input and how you're doing or what their opinion is. And they may also make a referral for therapy or a certain type of medication change, that might be helpful to keep you out there and safe longer. If you're starting to have weakness in your legs and that's impacting your foot control, maybe a little therapy or something to get you going and get you stronger could help so that you can stay out there safe.
All right. Well, a driving assessment is certainly a very useful tool. I know Madonna does have such a driving assessment program, which does require a physician referral, correct, Lisa?
That's right, yes.
Okay. So what kinds of evaluations do you feel are important in patient driving assessments?
So a thorough exam of their vision is a big part of that, not just how clearly they see, like I was talking about earlier, but also some of that perception, that skills related to their depth perception and judgment of space is really important. And then we also look at motor skills, how well their foot moves, how well their arms move, can they control things, and can they do it quickly? And we also have a driving simulator that can be used that can be helpful to look at those skills.
So you do actually have a behind the wheel evaluation.
We do. We go out in the car, kind of in a driver's ed car, and actually see them perform on the road as well.
Oh, that's wonderful, Lisa. We have a quick wrap up here. Just one more word to let everybody know what they should be thinking in terms of driving retirement.
I think the biggest thing is just being supportive and trying to stay as healthy as you can to keep those skills sharp for as long as you can so that you can stay safe out on the road, and have a conversation with your doctor about it if you have concerns.
That's wonderful, Lisa. Lisa Anderson of Madonna Plus Therapy. Thank you so much for being with us today and helping all of us live and learn about staying safe behind the wheel.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones with Aging Partners. Did you know that Lincoln expects a 75% increase in the number of seniors living in our community over the next 15 years? Aging Partners is a community service that provides fitness programs to help keep older adults strong and healthy. This year, Lincoln Cares donations are providing funds for new fitness equipment. You can help make this happen. Sign up to support Lincoln Cares and add $1 to your LES bill each month.
Hello, it's wonderful to have you join us today for discussion on Nebraska's Senior Health Insurance Assistance Program, or SHIP. I'm Barb Tyler, and I'm delighted to welcome Alicia Jones, who is the administrator for this free, unbiased program that helps Nebraskans become more aware about their Medicare coverage. Welcome, Alicia. First of all, tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you came to be involved with this program.
Well, yeah, thank you, Barb. Thanks for having us on today. You know, anytime I get to talk about Medicare and the Nebraska SHIP, I am excited. So I really appreciate this opportunity today. Well, you know, this is a program that I've actually been with for longer than I probably would like to admit. I've been here with the Nebraska SHIP for over 13 years. So I started out as a training coordinator, helping our volunteers learn about Medicare and prepare to help the community with their Medicare related questions. And then I've been the director with the program for about 11 years.
So what's all involved with the SHIP program?
Well, that is a good question. And I always like to tell people we are maybe the best hidden secret you'll ever find. So just a little bit about, you know, first why we exist and who we are. For a lot of people, you know, they may not realize before they go on Medicare, the type of interaction that they get to have with Medicare once they actually go on the program. So when you go on Medicare, really the only way you get to talk to Medicare itself is by calling an 800 number. There are no physical offices where you can sit down and talk to Medicare face to face. Because of that, the federal government funds a program in every state to serve as that local presence for Medicare information. So I actually work for the Nebraska Department of Insurance, and we received the grant to run the SHIP program for the state of Nebraska. So SHIP stands for State Health Insurance Assistance Program, and there are 54 of us across the nation, and we are proud here to serve Nebraskans through the Nebraska Department of Insurance. So really what we do is we offer free, unbiased Medicare education. We're here to help people with any Medicare related questions or issues they may have. So that could be, hey, you're about to turn 65 and you want to know how to even start the Medicare process. We're here to help you answer those questions. Maybe you're already on Medicare and you have a billing issue, or you know, you want to check out some new plans. We're here to help with that process. So really anything and everything related to Medicare, we are your go-to source for free, unbiased information. I really do want to stress those 2 points. We are totally free and we are totally unbiased. So that means, you know, we don't earn any money for sitting down and talking to you. You know, we don't have any vested interests on what people decide. We're here really to make sure people understand Medicare and that they can make good decisions for themselves. But we don't promote any products, companies, or agents, and we don't sell anything.
Well, that's interesting. That's more than I knew about it, to tell you the truth. So we're seeing a lot of things on TV right now about Medicare options. What's going on and what should people know about these ads? Are they legitimate?
Good question. And that is what has kept us so busy these last few weeks here. So if you're on Medicare, you probably know it's Medicare open enrollment right now. And that's why you're seeing so many ads on TV. So open enrollment is the time of year where people on Medicare can review their Medicare options. So this is the time of the year where if you have a Medicare Part D plan for your prescriptions, you can see if there might be a better plan out there for next year. This is also the time of year where you can reevaluate a Medicare Advantage plan. And Medicare Advantage plans are the private insurance company offering Medicare benefits. And that's really what you're seeing all of those advertisements about. We're seeing a lot of famous people out there talking about getting Medicare benefits, they're advertising Medicare Advantage plans. So those are definitely legitimate ads you're seeing on TV. I will tell you, they're giving you, just a small portion of what that plan involves. It's really important that if you do want to check out one of those plans, that you get the whole picture and you really understand exactly what those plans involve to make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. And the good news is we can help you with that. So if you're interested in what you're seeing on TV through those ads, give us a call. We can talk you through everything that's going to be involved and what picking that type of option would mean for you.
Well, that's good to know, because I'm totally confused and I know just enough to be dangerous. So as you worked in this field of Medicare, what do you see some of the biggest challenges facing older adults, and how will they be resolved in the years to come?
That is a good question. I really see two main issues that we see people come in with. The first issue that we see is really just the complexity of Medicare itself. And, like we just talked about, you're seeing so many ads on TV right now. People on Medicare are getting a ton of mail because it's open enrollment. They're getting a ton of phone calls from people trying to sell them Medicare products. There are just so many options out there that trying to wade through all of those and really decide which one is the best fit for you can be pretty overwhelming. As far as resolving that particular issue, I don't anticipate Medicare is going to become less complex. It is just a complex program, and health insurance in general is pretty complex. But I think the best thing a Medicare beneficiary can do to help with that is really to educate yourself on what those options are. And again, great way to do that is to come in and see someone in our office. Keep in mind, when you deal with the Nebraska SHIP, you're dealing with someone who is totally unbiased. We don't care which option you pick. We care that you know your options and you're picking an option that is best for you. But one of our counselors can sit down with you, kind of explain the pros, the cons, the whole story of every option. And that will really help you know that you've got the option that's the best fit for you. The second kind of big challenge I see, and we hear this every day, is just the costs that people are facing. Premiums are going up. We just heard the Medicare premiums going up to $170 next year, which was a pretty big increase from where it is today. Supplement premiums are going up. Drug costs are getting expensive. So simply being able to afford the insurance and afford the needed health care can be a big challenge for many Medicare beneficiaries. And again, while we can't necessarily make those costs go away, if you call our program, we can definitely see if you might qualify for any help paying for some cost, or we can compare drug plans to make sure you're getting the best deal that's out there for you. So the cost will always exist, but we can definitely help you get on the best options to make those costs as minimal as they can be for you.
Well, that's good to know. I think a lot of people think Medicare is free, and I've come to realize nothing's free in this world anymore. So partly in your office as well, you're involved in fighting Medicare fraud. And how do you go about detecting frauds and scams that may occur within your division?
Yeah, so really what we are focused on when we're focused on preventing fraud is we're focused on educating people that fraud's out there and really what to look for in the form of fraud. So our program really does that focus on education and making sure we're getting the word out there about what potential fraud looks like, what scams we're seeing right now, and how to prevent yourself from becoming a victim of Medicare fraud or, any other type of scam. I will say at the moment, the biggest form of fraud we're seeing is happening in the form of phone calls. And I'm sure we probably all experienced it. I know I get them every day, phone numbers that I don't recognize that just won't stop calling me. More than likely, those are people trying to commit a scam, fraud, or even maybe potentially trying to sell you something you don't need. So it's really teaching people about the signs to look for, so hopefully they can avoid becoming a victim of fraud.
So besides the phone calls, is there anything else? Will you ever reach out via phone to just a random consumer?
Good question. So we will never randomly call you, and that is something really important to know. The government doesn't call. The only time our office or Medicare or Social Security would call you would be if you contacted us. So if you happen to contact us to do, let's say a Part D review this time of year, we might call you back to help you do that, but we would never call just out of the blue. And we are seeing so many phone calls right now saying they are from Medicare.
Yes.
Medicare does not call. So if someone claims that they are from Medicare and you didn't initiate that phone call, they are not from Medicare. They're either trying to sell you something or they're trying to get some personal information to take advantage of the Medicare system.
Okay, that's helpful. So if someone is suspecting that they became a victim of fraud, or what should they do? And is it always money they're after, or is it any identity fraud involved? So as we wrap up.
Yeah, so if you feel like you've become a victim of fraud or a scam, there are a few things that we'd like you to do. And that is a great question. It is not always money they're after, especially if it's related to Medicare. A Medicare number is actually a lot more valuable than maybe a checking account number or a credit card number, because what happens when a fraudster gets your Medicare number, they now can bill Medicare for basically any service they want to.
Oh.
And until someone catches it, until someone reads that Medicare summary notice and says, hey, I didn't get that test, they can continue to bill Medicare. So if that number is given out, that really gives that fraudster kind of a, open access to bill Medicare and get a lot of money from Medicare before it's figured out. So it's not typically money that they're looking for, at least in the Medicare fraud world. It's the actual Medicare number that is the most valuable. So what we really encourage people to do to hopefully prevent that is don't give your Medicare number out. If someone calls you and asks you for it, don't give it out. Only give it out to people that you know and trust. Anyone else asking for it probably is someone who wants to do something bad with it. So protect that Medicare number just like you'd protect a credit card or a bank account. If you have accidentally given that out, and it happens, I'll tell you, these fraudsters are really, really good at their jobs. What we'd like you to do is report that to us. So you can give us a call at 1-800-234-7119. We'll help you determine if that really was a fraudulent or a scam that happened. If it was, we will report that into Medicare, and a couple things will happen. First, hopefully they'll change your Medicare number. And that is really key, because as long as that old Medicare number is out there, people can continue to bill it. So when we get that number changed, that really cuts off that fraud. And secondly, hopefully we can get some money recovered for the Medicare system.
Well, thank you for sharing so much. This has been great information. Thank you for taking the time today to us. And please remember, it's never too late to live and learn.